Okay.
All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
Before we open up, we want to give all glory, all praises, and honor to
Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Chakwadash.
double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who definitely do rule and teach well. And the mighty Shalom to the hopefully elect and the society that's pushing the truth like the four corners of the earth. To you, we say Shalom.
Shalom.
We're the brothers from the Great Millstone branch, the Gary Kemp, and the brother Yerah.
Brother Yaquab.
And we're just doing a quick video through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai Shai, going to the, ruling over your tongue. Hey, the Lord's teaching us how to rule our spirit. And the main thing we need to learn and practice ruling is our tongue, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because your mouth and what you say can get your ass in a whirlwind of trouble, man. And we're speaking for brothers speaking from experience, man.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you need to learn how to read the room, know when to shut up, know when to speak.
Yeah.
And before I even open up that Proverbs, I want to get a quick precept in Ecclesiastes 3. Because there's a time and a season to everything under the sun, as Solomon says, and even when it comes to speaking, and we got to know when to speak and when to shut the hell up. And this is Ecclesiastes 3 and 7. It says, matter of fact, I'm going to start at 1, but I'm going to jump down. It says, to everything there's a season, a time to every purpose under the heaven. I'm going to jump down to 7. A time to rend and a time to sow. A time to keep silence and a time to speak. So there's a time and a season for everything, and this is something that we're learning as we grow up in this, in this truth, man. As we mature in the faith, we learning, when to speak or when to shut the fuck up, like the elder Yasha Ramba and other elders always say, man, when you're in this truth, you gotta learn to read the room. Sometimes, you don't have to say something, man. Sometimes it's best just to be quiet.
Yeah.
And that shows what discipline. And we all, in the flesh, we made mistakes before. Sometimes you have said things that you out of season or said things out of, what you ain't, supposed to say, but this is something we're learning as we grow in the faith, man, And that's the art of stoicism.
Yeah. I was going to say, you could apply it to every situation within your life too. Like not only with the brothers, but also in your day-to-day life within a workplace, or you dealing with your woman or a woman for that matter. Like just keeping your mouth shut could get you out of a lot of situations that that you'll be put in predicaments you ain't need to be because you ran your mouth.
Yeah.
If we were to keep silent in different little circumstances, then you'd be better off.
Yeah.
And it's a spirit. We're talking about this because today at work, this dude I was in a meeting today at work, and he's known to just talk out of his ass. But anyways, he got a little flustered. He said some things he was supposed to say, and then afterwards he had to come. Oh, it was a man of him to do, come back and apologize for what he said and how he was reacting. But that's the thing. If you was just just breathe, settle down. Speaking first and foremost to myself, because we're all guilty of it. Like the brother mentioned, we're in his flesh. But you just breathe, sit back, and just, relax. Let the Lord do. And just keep your comments to yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
That's part of one of the attributes of the spirit is what? Temperance, self-control. And one aspect of self-control is there's many aspects of self-control. Watching what you eat, dieting, other things, of course. But also having control over your tongue.
Mm-hmm.
That's the art of discipline. And Yahweh Shai was the perfect example of that. There have been many times Yahweh Shai was provoked, but he knew when to sometimes to keep silent.
Yeah.
And that's something we have to learn in this walk, man. Here in Babylon, because we witness a lot of people being put to death just because they being rash with their mouth. It's good to say, a soft answer turn away wrath.
Turn away wrath.
Sometimes you ain't gotta, although your flesh, like, man, this bitch ass. But sometimes, because we know when the people provoke you, sometimes it's best, like the brother said, just breathe, relax, and just keep calm, man, Because that shows true power when you're able to control your emotions, man.
Yeah.
Me and Yasharala, we was talking about, let your logic control your emotions.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll read it for you. You can expound, bro.
Okay.
This is Proverbs 18:21, and it reads, it says, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof.
In the NLT, it says the tongue can bring death or life. Those who love to talk will reap the consequences. And you see that, I think LD Ashwamba had went into a lesson, like you see the different YNs out there, just niggas in the world, how what they speak comes to life, right? Because all they speak about is ultimately death. It all leads to death. Yeah. So eventually that's what they're gonna sow.
Yeah.
All right? Or
you know what I was saying, in the world, they speak it into existence.
Yeah, right.
You know, and because we gotta think words are nothing but vibrations, sounds, frequencies. So what you put out can eventually come back onto you, man. That's why you gotta be mindful of what you say. You know, especially when you get angry. You know, sometimes we say things out of anger, you know. And the Lord, you know, at times he wink at it, like he just, you know, that's why you ask Lord, Slack, I ain't meant to say that, you know, but and we sometimes you gotta be mindful of what you say, man. You know, because they, like the old saying in Esau's law, when they lock you up, anything you say can be used against you in the court of law, man. You know, and it's really, in a sense, it's kind of, you know.
Yeah.
You know, what
because you're incriminating yourself.
Yeah, you're incriminating yourself, man.
That's the thing, and the Lord can bring it back on you like that. Like, you know, it could be quick. And that's the thing, what you say, because what you put out is ultimately what you could get back. The Lord could put you to that standard, and now you got to reap the consequences. Like I said, those who love to talk, all right, you know, you talk a big game, now that person is going to be provoked to do something to you. And then, too, just speaking in, like, layman's terms, like when people say, like, over my dead body, or you got to kill me for this, or I'm this, I'm that. What it say, you are as you thinketh. So you think yourself to be one way, you're going to be in that vibration to where you're going to feel that way. And that, you know what I'm saying? You're giving yourself over unto that. And that's a big thing. What you tell yourself, you're going to believe it.
Yeah. Yeah, even speaking to yourself, man. You know, I ain't shit, I ain't this.
Yeah, like, come on.
You got to speak good to yourself, man. Yeah, I am a man of the Lord. I am this.
Yeah.
But we all get in that spot, like, man, I ain't nothing, man. You know, but no, you can't. You got to really, you know, like right now, we're prophesying. We're speaking the end into existence. What we saying through the scriptures are coming to pass, man. So that's not just on that level, but also even within our, like the brother said, even within our personal walk, man. You know, you get mad, you want to throw a curse on somebody. You ain't got to do that all the time, man.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you just be quiet, let it be, bro. You know?
And even with that, like, because sometimes, and it's the spirit. The mother's always going into, like you'll try to, Satan will try to attack that doubt or that them thoughts that you have that you ain't shit, you're not this, you're not that. You'll try to dwell on your past, you know, on your sins. But really, we have the scriptures to let us know that Yahweh Shai is able to forgive that sin, right? And he is forgiving us. So therefore, you got to forgive yourself. If you know that Yahweh Shai is forgiving you, in turn, you got to forgive yourself and build yourself up. Don't tell yourself, I ain't shit, I ain't this, I ain't that. While we know our righteousness is filthy as rags, still, you don't got to beat yourself down to a pulp, because now you're giving your mind over to heaviness, you know? And you rather give yourself encouraging words and be around brothers who motivate you positively, then you constantly putting that negative shit into your head. Okay, then that's what you're gonna, you know, that's what you're gonna feel. That's what you're gonna think.
Yeah, you're gonna become that.
Yeah.
I got a quick prayer.
It's a balance, because, you know, we're not perfect, of course not. But hey, you not to be on the comparison shit, but you're blessed to have this truth.
Yeah.
You're blessed to have this truth above the rest. While we know we're not shit, hey, humbly speaking, we got a better chance than a lot of these motherfuckers in the world.
Yeah, these niggas through. They ain't got no hope. Hopeless. Hopeless. I got a quick prayer though for you, bro. This is James 3:2. Let me know when you're there, bro.
You got it.
James 3:2. For in many things we offend all. If any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect man, and able also to bridle the whole body. Behold, we put bits in horses' mouth, that they may obey us, and we turn about their whole body. Behold also the ships, which though they be so great, are driven of a fierce winds, yet are turned so about with a very small helm, whatsoever the governor listeth. Even so the tongue is a little member, and boasteth great things. Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among many members. that it defiles the whole body and set on fire the course of nature and is set on fire of hell. We've seen that, man. We've seen wars being started just by mere words.
Yeah.
It's a lie that the world teaches. Sticks and stones may break my bones.
Words will never hurt me.
That's a fucking lie.
Yeah. Words definitely hurt.
Words definitely hurt, man.
Especially
Hey,
this
the word
cuts.
should say what? The word is sharper than any two-edged sword, man.
That's right.
You know, words do hurt, man. What you say does have an effect on people, man. Even yourself, man.
Yeah.
You know, it says, verse, read 6 again. It says, the tongue is a fire, a whirl of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body and setteth on fire the course of nature and is set on fire of hell. For every kind of beasts, of birds, and of serpents, of things in sea is tamed and have been tamed of mankind. But the tongue, who can no man tame? It is unruly, evil, full of deadly poison. Therewith we bless the Most High, even the Father, and therewith we curse men. Curse we men, which are made at the similitude of the Most High. You know, because hey, that's what we do, man. Every time somebody do some shit to you, ain't got to curse them.
Yeah.
You know. And I'm speaking to myself, man.
Yeah.
You know? Because sometimes the Lord ain't gonna like, nigga, I ain't finna acknowledge that damn curse. Whatever, nigga.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord looking at you like, come on, bro. You getting too beside yourself, man.
Yeah.
Every time somebody do something wrong to you, they ain't got to be a Shalak Rayam or all that, man.
Right.
You know? You know what I'm saying? So the
It's
Lord,
just
you
an
know.
emotion.
Yeah, man. That's you being emotional, man. You know, and I'm speaking first and foremost to myself, man. You know, a lot of times we get ourselves in a lot of troubles by what we say. And like we said, it's not just, you know, being amongst brothers. It's even in the world, dealing with women.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody ain't got to let I was watching the Art of Stoicism. You said, you know when you come into your, I forget how it said.
Masculinity?
Yeah, when you learn how to control what you say.
Mm.
You know, and that's one thing we're learning as men. We see here in Babylon, we grew up, you know, a lot of us grew up in single parent households under the N-dub. So a lot of us act like the N-dub.
Yeah.
The N-dub just speaks her mind, especially when a nigga want to get drunk. She just talk, blur out shit.
Oh, yeah.
No discipline.
That's what the red pill teaches you.
Yeah.
That red pill community. Like, you don't got to overcompensate for these women.
Yeah.
The women, if anything, the woman should be talking way more than you. And you should be the one asking the questions, guiding the conversation. They should be the ones mainly talking.
Yeah.
Like, we got to remain, and brothers will say that, you got to remain a mystery to the best that you're dealing with. You can't be telling her everything, because then, hey, now she's got fuel for something along the lines, you get into an argument or something, she'll pull that out her sleeve. Well, the scriptures say, don't let your right hand know what your left hand doeth.
Yeah.
Loosely paraphrasing.
What you say can be used against you
Mm-hmm.
in the court of law, like Esau said, man. You know, sometimes it's just best just to shut the fuck up. You know, even with women, jobs, people in general, man. You know, even amongst the brotherhood, man. Everybody gotta know you ain't gotta confide to everybody about every goddamn thing, man.
Yeah.
Cause some brothers, you know, may just judge right away, and not be so merciful or understanding. Not to say, that
Right.
but we just, these are examples that we point out. Is that sometimes it's best to just keep certain shit to yourself, man, or just shut the fuck up, man.
Facts.
And I'm learning from myself, man. Sometimes you just, like Elder Yashirama said a couple months ago, I'm watching one of his videos. He said, man, just learn to read the room.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you ain't got to say anything. Because sometimes we in the flesh, you get fiery, you get excited, you like, oh shit, ooh. Sometimes you be like, no, you got to know how to control it. Like, be quiet, man.
Yeah, you can feel the spirit
Yeah.
brewing, the energy in the room, like reading the room.
Yeah. And another thing, that's why you gotta be mindful of your alcohol, because some brothers talk more when they sauce.
Facts.
If you know you're gonna be around certain people, maybe not be wise for you to drink,
Or keep it to a minimum.
or keep it to a minimal, or don't, because I'm speaking from experience. Brothers get a little oil in them.
Oh yeah.
You start to speak a little bit more. You become loose lips.
Loose lips.
As a matter of fact, it's the scriptures I was watching on Den of Thieves. They had loose lips sink ships.
Damn. Yeah, Den of Thieves.
Yeah, loose lips, man. Like he was saying the same, man. You get them a little drink. He said, man, they'll tell you everything. They'll tell you your deepest, darkest secrets, man.
Con.
You know what I'm saying? Remember, it was Q, son, I forget his name, but hey, that's true, man. Hey, be mindful what you drink around, who you drinking around.
Especially who you drinking around, who you hanging around with.
Especially when it comes to women.
Mm-hmm.
You're around these women, man. Don't be drinking too much around these motherfucking women, man. Like that. You know, especially if you know you're a brother that can't handle his oil. Some brothers can drink and be quiet. You know.
Yeah.
But I'm speaking to myself. You know, some brothers, you know, you drink, you know, you start to talk too fucking much, and that could become a detrimental, you know, to yourself. You know.
Yeah.
Cause remember, we at war, and first and foremost, this is a spiritual war. You know.
As the spirit, we're reading the book of Judges. You seen how Samson.
Yeah. Damn, that's the spirit. I just got through reading that too.
Talking to
Talking too damn much, and what it led to him getting killed.
talking to his wife. Yeah.
You know. It says, verse 10, out of the mouth proceedeth blessings and curses, my brethren. These things ought not to be so. It says, do a fountain send forth at the same place sweet waters and bitter? Can a fig tree, my brethren, bear olives berries? Even a fig vine, and even a vine figs. So can no fountain yield both salt and fresh water. It says, who is a wise man and a doer with knowledge among you? Let him show out a good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom.
I had one. This is Sirach 32:7.
I'm there.
I read it in the KJV, but I'm gonna go to GNT. 7-9. It says, Sirach 32:7. Speak, young man, if there be need of thee, and yet scarcely when thou art twice asked. Let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words. Be as one that knoweth, and yet holdeth his tongue.
So you got to be learning, especially amongst elder men.
Mm-hmm.
And not even just brothers in the faith, once again. We in the world.
Elders, yeah, your elders.
People in the world. You know, just be quiet, man. We at the job. You know, just be, or whatever, man. Just be quiet, man. And when you quiet, people tend to respect you more. And I'm speaking first and foremost for myself. When you're quiet, because now you're a mystery. Like, man, what's to this dude?
Right. They begin to ponder on you like,
like, there's something about this guy. He's, you know, because now they can't figure you out. They're like this old saying.
So they're interested.
The old saying, the loudest person in the room is the weakest man.
Yeah.
The quietest one is the strongest. You know?
It says, if thou be among great men, make not thyself equal with them. And when ancient men are in place, use not many words.
Mm-hmm.
So in the GNT, the Good News Translation, Sirach 32:7, it says, if you are young, don't speak unless you have to, but never more than twice, and only if someone speaks to you first.
Mm-hmm. So, hey, don't be speaking, you know, be around elders, elder brothers. You know, don't be, you know, and we all learn, you know, we all made mistakes before. You just tweaking, you know, elder, like, hey, bro, what's to this brother, you know? But it's all for all learning. That don't mean to beat yourself up about it.
Yeah,
just, you know,
just learn and keep it pushing.
Sometimes it's just best just shut the fuck up, man. You know?
It says, come to the point and say it all in few words. Show that you are well informed, but stay quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's something we could all practice, you know, because it's knowing the answer, but then just even with knowing it, unless you're asked, then give it. Because right away, you like, I remember like in school, person will know the answer. He'll blurt it out right away. Teacher be like, I ain't even calling on you.
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck, you know, they'll get pissed. Because it wasn't the time and place for that to happen. Because now nobody else can learn. But now, and usually the teacher will call on somebody that doesn't know so that they could, you know what I'm saying, go through it with them. Or be an example so that everybody in the room can know.
Mm-hmm.
Not just that one person that's, ooh, pick me, you know?
You want to be in that smarty pants spirit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you could rub other more like, this nigga always... Because it could come off as being prideful.
Prideful. Like, you know, you are a know-it-all. They have that saying in the world.
Yeah, you don't want to be that guy, man.
You a know-it-all, nigga.
And the crazy part, you may not be that type of guy. So, you know, your intentions may not be that, but people could perceive that you're that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, sometimes just be quiet, man. You know?
That's it.
You know?
It says, don't treat important people as if you were their equal, and don't make a nuisance of yourself by asking them a lot of questions.
Yeah, sometimes just be fucking quiet, man. You got to be asking questions. Oh, bro, elder apostles. Oh. Or even at the workplace, man. You see your boss, don't be trying to be all in their face.
Buddy,
Shit.
yeah.
You know, I was in no, you know, fuck Esau's army, but I remember Esau's army. I remember one time was one of the, you familiar with, it was a sergeant major. He like, man, he said, hey, I ain't gonna say my government name, but he like, hey, he said, man, he said, what's your name again? I said my name. He like, I don't know you, but that's a good thing. Keep doing what you're doing, because I don't know you.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? He said it's a good thing I don't know you, because why? That means I'm doing what the fuck I'm supposed to do.
Your name isn't getting brought up.
Your
so
name
you
ain't
good.
getting brought up, man. You know?
Yeah.
And that's true, man. You know, just be low key, man. There's nothing wrong with being low key.
Yeah, stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane, man. You know, that goes for all of us, including myself. That's another one I want to get. I think it's a Ciroc.
28.
Yeah,
I
that's
have that one. 28 and 18. I read it.
Okay.
It says.
Matter of fact,
Let's start at 17.
shit, you can then start at 13. Matter of fact, 12.
12.
Yeah.
God. Sirach 28 and 12. It says, "If thou blow the spark, it shall burn. If thou spit on it, it shall be quenched. And both these come out of the mouth, or out of thy mouth."
Goes back to it's another part of precept said, a soft answer to a wrath.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody say some shit to you, hey, just say, you got it, G. Although your flesh may like want to justify, like, this bitch ass nigga, but sometimes you go like, you got it, bro.
Yeah, like I don't even want to go back and forth.
Yeah, because you ain't finna, especially when it comes to women, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you finna argue with a woman for. You know, just leave it. And I'm speaking from experience. Arguing with women is never gonna work.
I'll leave it alone.
Just let it be. Take the low. You ain't really taking the low. Just be a bigger. You really being a bigger man. You being a man. When you do that. Fuck you gonna argue with something that's beneath you.
Yeah, because that's true. That the women, they'll always want power.
Yeah.
They always want the power regardless. So they're gonna find any way in the book to feel like they came out on top or like they won the argument.
Mm-hmm.
I give a fuck. Yeah.
You get that carnal victory, but in the spirit, you got it.
God.
You got it, bro.
Sirach 28 and 13. "Curse the whisper and double-tongued, for such have destroyed many that were at peace."
And we see that a lot, especially amongst the black community, man, and Latino community. Gossiping, backbiting. You tell motherfucker one thing, they go on social media, air everybody dirty laundry. Now you got a whole fucking a shit show going on.
Mm-hmm.
That's completely fucking wicked, man. You know, people got put to death by rumors.
Yeah.
People that killed themselves because of rumors.
Yeah, the what ifs.
Yeah.
Or the
You know?
what could be.
That shit wicked, man. And that's what this world promotes. Rumors, gossip. They even got magazines called Gossip.
Yeah, gossip.
Yeah,
Literally.
That shit wicked, man.
So the magazines is
Yeah.
rumors.
Rumors and gossip. Such and such, such and such, 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 such. Fuck you worry about what they got going on in their household. You need to be worried about, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got it, bro.
It says verse 14, "A backbiting tongue hath disquieted many, and driven them from nation to nation. Strong cities have pulled it down and overthrown the houses of great men."
Man, you can look that word for backbiting, man. We see that a lot, especially amongst our community, man.
You know, say one thing and they go back on their word.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, that's what backbiting.
I think it's something just talking ill behind somebody behind their back.
Yep, it says backbiting. The sin, this is an etymon. Backbitunge, I think. I'm pronouncing that. It says the sin of secretly attacking one's character or reputation through envy.
Yeah, you
From the
talking
back.
shit. Yeah, you talking shit behind somebody's back. In your face, you smiling though. And then, he tell you something, he go, yeah, this motherfucker, let me tell you what he That shit wicked as hell, bro.
It says a notion is of injury in a manner comparable to biting from behind.
Yeah, that's
like a backstabber.
Yeah, backstabber, man. That's a coward spirit, man. And it's very effeminate because women do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't only say women, bitches do that.
Bitches,
you know?
yeah,
bitches
facts.
do that. A bitch should do that. Smile in your face, hear all your, and then they, yeah, I heard such, yeah, that motherfucker,
Mm-hmm. Gossiping.
Yeah, gossiping spit. You see that in Israel, man. You know? You got niggas on platforms, instead of prophesying, they airing out each other's dirty laundry.
You just saw that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? That shit completely off, man. What the fuck, man? Just teach the word. Fuck, they got to know about what's going on in your personal business, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, none of us ain't got fucking... We all got problems. We all fucked up.
Yeah,
You don't need to hear that. Prophesy.
that's right.
You know, but that's the world we live in, man, you know? And that's why the Lord gonna destroy a lot of these niggas just for that act alone, man.
Backbiting.
You know, that backbiting spirit, man. You know? Coming up with rumors and shit, and shit don't even be true. You know?
Through envy, it says.
Yeah, through envy. You know? That's why you gotta be mindful who you confide your sins to. You know, more you may tell somebody, they might try to turn that and use it. Yeah, I heard he do this and that.
Because they want to take your place.
Yeah, they want to take your place, or they envy you because the Lord revealing certain things unto you, and they looking for any. Okay, yeah, he. Oh shit, let me use this. Go to that shit wicked, bro. Don't be doing no shit like that, man. If you it's we ain't speaking to anybody in particular, but if you in that spirit, you need to check your fucking self, man.
That's right.
That's completely fucking off, man. You know.
Yeah, bro.
You know. You got it, bro.
Back in Sirach 28:15, a backbiting tongue hath cast out virtuous women and deprived them of their labors.
And it goes back with some other woman, because that's really a feminine spirit to be in. You got men in that spirit.
That shit so off.
That shit off. Grown ass men gossiping like bitches. You know, you see that in Israel heavy. I'm not even just saying the Israelite community. I'm saying just in general.
Yeah, so-called black community.
Yeah, and
I
Latino,
was about to say, and Latino community. Especially them, bro. They're the worst, low-key.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to family, oh, man. Quick to get on another person's business.
Yeah. Girl, you heard with such and such.
Yeah, do that shit quick, bro.
Yeah, they call it
Through envy. Literally through envy, because they want their place. Or they see the success of this family member. They're not fucking with it. So now, once they find out something about them, now everybody has to know.
They call them motherfucker, they drunk, drinking wine, or whatever the fuck, telling everybody their business. That shit not to be, man. That's why when you focus on yourself, you know, I think that I was reading about the art of stoicism. You know, it's good to just focus on yourself, study, read these scriptures, pray, invest in yourself. And when you word tune and making sure you right, it leaves no room for gossip, because you're not really worried about everybody else. You worry about, that's why I was going to say, let every man work out his own salvation with fear and trembling. When you focus on your own salvation, it makes everything's peaceful. It makes for a peaceful environment. When everybody's focused on their own salvation, not to say we help each other. Of course we help each other. But when you focus on your own salvation and doing what's right in the eyes of the Lord, it makes for a peaceful environment.
Yeah.
You know, when you know what the old saying, stay in your own lane. When you working on driving in your own lane instead of looking at somebody else's lane.
Yeah, looking in the rear view.
Yeah, man. It makes for a peaceful environment, man. And the Lord don't like that shit, because it brings what? Confusion. It brings what? Chaos. You know?
Yeah.
And like I said, many people are in the grave right now as we speak, or in jail, or fucked up somewhere because of mere gossip. Or the tongue.
Talking too damn much.
Talking too much. It's not just gossip, it's the tongue in general. That's just one aspect of not controlling your tongue, gossip. Or, saying some stupid shit that get, wrath.
Yeah.
Because there's many aspects that goes into, when you don't control your tongue, it can lead to, making a promise on some shit that you can,
Let your yay be yay.
Yeah. Well, Lord willing, bro. You'll say some shit like, damn, now you gotta act. Then if you don't act on it, now brother's looking at you like,
damn.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You got it, bro.
Sirach 28:16, whoso hearkeneth unto it shall never find rest and never dwell quietly. The stroke of the whip maketh marks in the flesh, but the stroke of the tongue breaketh the bones. Ooh. That's literally a cut to the saying in the world.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's the spirit.
Yeah. Come.
Damn.
You got it, bro.
It says, many have fallen by the edge of the sword, but not so many as have fallen by the tongue.
You had war started by mere speech. Think about it. The Lord finna fuck Trump and use him for destroy America, because why? It says he shall speak great words against the Most High.
That pride,
that boasting. You know what I'm saying? Hey,
read them times.
Yeah.
It says, well is he that is defended through the venom thereof, who have not drawn the yoke thereof, nor have been bound in her bands.
God. That's why, because one of the attributes of the spirit is what? Temperance. And the word temperance goes into what? Self-control. So part of self-control is learning also is much more than just what you eat, your diet, what you do, but more importantly, what you say.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what you say, man, because, you know, hey, what you say has power in it, man. You know? I got a quick precept. I think it's in Proverbs. What was the rule of your spirit?
Yeah.
Proverbs 16:32. It reads, there, bro.
Oh, you got it.
It says, "He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit is than he that taketh a city." So he that is slow to anger. Sometimes we say things in anger, you know, but you got to be slow to anger. You know, we say, "Oh, motherfucker," you know, you got to learn how to control. Like, nah, if I say this, that's what I was saying. Think before you speak.
Yeah.
You know,
Simpler said than done.
simplest, and trust me. You know, it says, "He that ruleth his spirit better than he that taketh a city," and that's what the Lord is teaching us in our walk, man. It's pretty much teaching us how to rule our spirit, man. And that goes on many levels. And one level we speaking of right now, it's the tongue, man. The tongue, what you say can get you fucked up, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Can get you in a whirlwind of shit, man. You know?
For real.
You know what I'm saying? So, hey, you got anything else? Yeah, that's the lesson, man. So in a nutshell, man, just watch what you say.
Watch what you say.
It's a lesson, bro. Watch what you say, man. So with that, we pray this video was edifying. I want to give all glory, praises, honor to
Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahushai Ba'Hashem Chakodash.
Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who definitely do well. Peace and citation to Phylactus. Since I can push the truth out the four corners there. Shalom.
Shalom.
Kom Yasharala.
Kom Yasharala.
Ababa Ball.
Ababa Ball.